Hi again. So, as I said before, I went live earlier today. Today is Thursday, June 27th, and I'm on my mobile phone, and that is actually uploading. It's been about an hour now, and it's still uploading. So, like I said, I thought that if you go live, and when you finish with the live, like, it's automatically there. I'll let you like private it or whatever, but it has to upload. My lives has to upload for some reason, but I guess that's what it's supposed to do. I don't know. So yeah. So I'm quite sure of this one. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be on here. It's 12:38 right now, and it's 82 degrees outside here in Baltimore, Maryland. 82. That's a good number. 8 and 2. Wait, hold on. I need to put some more Vaseline on my hands. This hand eczema is. Oh, I know I got holes in my pants. So if y'all see a hole here and there, it's it's fine. I'm comfortable. I'm clean. These clothes are clean. Okay. Man, with hand eczema, I swear I be keeping my hands greased up, but I still be getting cuts on my fingers. I'm like, how do I get cuts? And it's so weird because, like, say I got a major cut. It's like a small cut, but it's like burns. So, say I got like a cut on a finger. Okay, like say this for instance. I'm speaking about what's going on now. I know my fingers, ugh, I gotta look at them every day. So y'all can look at them for a few seconds. Like, look, and I'm not flipping nobody off, but you see this cut on my finger? Okay. Yes, okay. And that's not the middle finger, it's the other finger. So you can see that. But anyways, the cut on my finger, and that's the only cut it's probably other cuts on my hand, but I don't feel no other cut. This is the main one that's like, ooh, you know. So I'm like, and normally that's going to be about 2 days. This is the maybe 3 days because this is the second day. So 3 days. Tomorrow it should be like I shouldn't even feel it. But so yeah, so when this goes away or like lightens up, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to feel like that little, like how you get a paper cut. I'm not going to feel that anymore after tomorrow. So I'm in my mind like good. No more cuts on my hands because this is the only one and everything else is just, like ill looking, a little dark and whatever, but it's no cuts. Fine. No cuts, no nothing, don't feel nothing. So I bet come tomorrow when I don't feel it, another cut is going to show up on another finger. And I'm just like, where did you come from? Like, are y'all taking turns? So that's how it be with my hands. And I'm like, come on now, like, just cut. Come on, like, I had a cut on my thumb, on this thumb, and then, like, it healed, it's gone. You know what I mean? But when I had it here on my thumb, I didn't feel nothing else on my finger. Like, I don't even think I had any other cuts on my hands. Like I said, if I did, I wasn't feeling them, but I was feeling the one on my thumb. So once that is healed, it's gone. I don't feel anything. My thumb is fine. This came up, and I'm just like, why? Why can't y'all just not have no cuts when I'm keeping my hand for the most part? Like 90% of the time, I'm keeping my hands greased up. Like I go through so much Vaseline. And right now, I'm using a generic Vaseline. Where I get this from? I want to say Target. Was it Target? Yeah, I want to say Target. I got this from Target, and it's not the name. It's not the name brand Vaseline. They didn't have anymore. when we went. So I'm using that, and I just got that maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I'm almost like finished with it. But the name brand Vaseline for that size, like the Vaseline that actually says healing on it, this jar does not say healing on it. It's like petroleum jelly or whatever. But that doesn't say healing. But on the name brand Vaseline, it says healing on it, and that lasts longer. But yeah, I needed something because I was just like I was low on the Vaseline, and we went to Target, looked in the baby aisle. They just had the baby powder scent, and I don't like the scents. I have to use the original no scents on my hands for the Vaseline. Like that's what I prefer. But anyways, so yeah, and I'm just talking because really no topic about this video. I'm just talking really. Um, So yeah, but I have about, and I still keep the jars. For some reason, I'm not a hoarder. Okay, I'm not a hoarder, but them Vaseline, plastic containers, the ones that got the lid that come off, and the ones with the lid that you just, bloop, and still stay attached to the jar. Like I have about at least 10 of them things. They empty. But you know how you still can't really get everything out, but they like empty. But I'm like, I even still be like with this Vaseline, I like go through my old ones and like, get my finger and like trying to scrape out what's left inside. So they technically empty, but they not empty. You know how like, you can't really empty them out. But yeah, I still keep them things. I don't know. I just feel like I could use them for something. It's like ten bottles, like, what is it, 7 ounces? I don't know how many ounces, but I'm like, I want to use it for something. I just don't want to throw it away. Like, it could be utilized for something, like recycle. Yeah. But, so yeah, hand eczema. I feel y'all, the people who got eczema all over their body, oh my goodness, you guys. Like I said, this is an earthly experience that I have to experience. I mean, this is a human experience that I have to experience so I can, um, what is the word? I can feel, what is the word? I can know, it's a particular word that I'm trying to remember. So I know I can relate. Is that the word? I guess that's the word. So I can relate to the people with eczema. Again, it's just on my hands. Whew, goodness, thank you. It's just on my hands. But and it just started almost 2 years ago. It started in December of I think like 2022. Yeah, I think December of 2022. But I didn't think it was anything, how you get like a little something and you're like, oh, ain't nothing, it'll go away, yada yada yada. But it progressed into something more, and I really didn't get it checked out until like months later, and then I got a cream and everything for it. But so I understand. So this is an experience that I have to have being here on Earth. Yeah. But I'm like, and I was thinking like, why? I was saying why. Well, yeah, I kind of was like, why I got eczema all of a sudden, like, and I got it during the wintertime, and I know, like, during the wintertime for as long as I can remember, which I'm quite sure, like, a lot of people, our hands get really dry in the wintertime, the cold weather. So they ain't nothing new. That's been going on for years. So I do normally would have cracks and stuff, and my hands dry, and I have to keep them all up during the wintertime. I'm used to that. But when I got this, I'm just like, how in the world I'm developing? First it was like bumps on the inside of my finger, and I kept scratching, didn't think nothing of it. Like I said, it progressed into something, into this. But this was looking way worse, okay? This is, I'm using cream now and stuff like that, prescribed cream for it. But anyways, so when I got to thinking, like, why in the world, I got all of a sudden I'm developing hand eczema. So I was just thinking, like, you know what? Of course, me being me, I'm thinking a little deeper into it. I'm like, you know what? Divine timing. I'm like, when I get acknowledgement and when I go out into the public and stuff like that, a lot of people gonna probably want to touch my hands, gonna want to touch me, touch my clothes, but just say, touch my hands. So if I did not develop hand eczema or like some kind of discoloration in my hands now, and say I went out, and started touching people, or people start touching me, and then I start developing this during that time, you know, it will be like people would be like, oh my goodness, or they didn't want to touch me, or I would probably be like, wait a minute, I'm touching so many people, or people, and people are touching me that I'm developing a skin disorder on my hands. Like, so maybe I need to fall back on people touching my hands and me touching people because y'all giving me hand eczema or y'all giving me discoloration or my hands is breaking out. So I probably put a pause to that. And maybe you people will probably be like, ugh, she's touching people and her hands is breaking out and she's still touching people and she probably giving them something. And, like, hey. So that's why I'm thinking, like, you know what? Oh, some kind of way my hands had to break out. Like, I think that's, man, I think I see a checklist, okay? I see a divine checklist that I've been seeing for years on and off. And this divine checklist goes on like people who's actually who they say they are. Like, say everybody is up for a particular role. Okay, say forget being me, but say somebody up or you up for a particular role. Hey, you want to play this character. You want to be the king of king of the land of trees. I don't know. King of the land of trees and queen of the land of trees, okay? So it's a checklist. Well, in order to be king of the land of the trees and queen of the land of the trees, and it's two separate, lists, you have to experience this on earth. This has to happen to you. This has to happen. This has to happen. You have to do this. You have to do that. And the same, the male and female, different ones, and maybe some similar things on a checklist, on a list that has to happen. So you have to, of course, obviously get all of them checked before it's like, yep, you're, this is the real king of the trees. This is the real queen of the trees, that kind of thing. So that's how I see it. So I've been seeing a checklist of the things that I have to experience. And maybe other people have to experience the same thing, but it's like some people got to experience in different ways. Like, say on a checklist, skin discoloration, and probably not really on the hands, probably just like anywhere, but it say it has to be like in a public, yeah, in a public area. So even if it's like on your face, like you got old skin discoloration on your face, it doesn't have to be. Say it's a couple of, I don't know, just say it's a couple of years. Skin discoloration. I don't even want to say. I'm gonna say 2 years because mine's coming up on 2 years. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 2 years. So say it's skin coloration for 2 years, okay, in a public area. So on your hand, on your leg, like if you wear shorts or something, but it got to be somewhere where people will be like, oh, you got a little something, on your, people probably ain't gonna point it out because duh, it's like, mother effer, it's my leg. I see that this whole section of my leg is a different color than the top part of my leg. Like something, or just on an arm, or on your back, especially if it develops on the summertime and you wear like tank tops, or you just somebody who like to show their back, or you a swimmer and there's a discoloration on your back, like something. It has to be like in a public area for 2 years, 2 years. Because like I said, I'm coming up on 2 years. And so that's a checklist. You can either be born with it, it happen at any age, a teenager, a grown adult, a child, a baby, whatever, but it has to be something where people notice it and see it. So I'm quite sure for me, it was like, oh no, we can't, because a lot of people probably signed up for it to be when they was a baby. Oh yeah, when I come out, I want this skin discoloration on my on you know on my body. I want the skin coloration on my whole body for 2 years, or develop when I'm one and then last till I'm three. That's really like y'all set yourselves up, but I get it because of course, good parenting, you take you to the doctors be like, oh, put this cream on, do that, and a whole lot of tests, and you will probably like, even if you probably can't speak or you telling your parents like I'm itching, yada yada yada, you have to obey by the rules. Like you can't scratch, you can't do this. So it's like you really can't do too much because you underneath control of your parents. You still a child, so you can't scratch. They probably put mittens on, or you can't even take the mittens off, and it's hard. And you just got to go through with the pain without speaking or trying to communicate to them. But they just like, sorry, baby, you gotta put this cream on. I know it probably stings, or know it stinks, or whatever. But you got through with that. But I'm thinking with that, with the chemicals and whatever stuff for a young child, I think that probably has a longer effect when you grow up as an adult. So yes, you got that checked off. They did that when they was 1 to 3, 5 to 6, whatever. They did that as a child. They got cream. Their parents took them to the hospital, not the hospital, to the doctor. They got this, they got that. Cool, checked off. But I think that has like you know, a lasting effect as a child. Like maybe other people was probably bullying you because of that, depending on the area. But again, it had to be like a public area where other people can see. So as a child, if it was on your arm, if it was on your hand, if it was on the side of your face, if it was on your whole body, like in different areas, it's like, yeah, you probably got picked on maybe. Hopefully not, but probably did, unfortunately. So anyways, so yeah. So for me, fast forward to me, I'm like, my sucker's getting checked off. And I guess I picked to have it close close to this divine timing. I'm close to when I'm about to be accepted, acknowledged, like just freed up. And I'm hearing timed up. Like just free. Like acknowledgement that media is in my name, Media. And meta, I be saying meta, Meta, but it's meta. A lot of people pronounce it meta, like metaverse. And meta is in my name, but I say meta. But however you want to pronounce it, that's in my name as well. But I'm like, when media, that divine timing in media, when that acknowledgement come, it's like it's getting closer because I know me developing hand eczema is for a reason. So that's what I'm saying. That's a checklist. Like, okay, hand eczema in a public place for 2 years checked off. Here go my daughter. Yay! You want to put back on your glasses now? Well, now, because I want to see what they. I don't want to be in a separate room and you probably messing it up. Let me guess. You want to see yourself real quick? There you go. You see you? Hey, there go Halle Bailey. There go Halle Bailey. There go Halle Bailey. Mm. Mm. That's Eleanor. That's Eleanor. Wow, wow, wow. Mm. You're so silly. Okay, let's go back in the living room. Okay, let's go. Let's see. We would do. Let's see okay, that's fine. Come on, Eleanor. What would you like? Okay, I'm gonna warm up my coffee cup again. Don't know how many times you can warm up coffee, but I've been drinking this. Well, this is my second cup. I've been drinking the same pot of coffee since about 10 o'clock. And it's going on 1 o'clock. Come on, Eleanor. Let's go in the kitchen. What? Come on. Come on. All right, Eleanor, give me your tablet. Give me your tablet. Push what? okay, okay. Okay, don't know how long I was gone, but you guys, the replay, just fast forward it. Okay, I'm about to eat me a sandwich as well. But I think I was finished talking about my hands. So I think it's like, and even just not even what my hands, but just different checklists of people, of different things that has to be done before people actually confirm or actually admit and agree that who you are is really who you are. You know what I mean? And some people already know, like you, some people was like, it's like 10 things that's on somebody's list. But then somebody is like, man, F all them 10 things. If this person do this one thing, that's the most powerful thing. And yes, that person has my vote. That person is who they say they are. So I think a lot of us, like myself included, like I said, I've been seeing a checklist of different things that's on the checklist that a lot of people have to do if you say you this person, or if you say you are this entity, or had a reincarnation into this person. But my main thing is just be yourself. Like you, if just be yourself. And with that being said, I noticed like not a lot, but I've seen some people. I guess once you get a spiritual awakening, for some people, it's they decide to change their name, like the name that they was born with, they change it either legally, they go to the court and be like, hey, yeah, I want my name changed because, yeah, and I'm not talking about like if you have a sex change or you like a transgender and you like, okay, legally, I want my name changed to, to this other name because of my gender now. I'm not talking about that. That's something different. I'm talking about you still your same sex person, but you just had a spiritual awakening and you did research and whatever and you like, you know what, my name actually is XYZ, you know so you like, well, I'm gonna go to the courthouse and petition for me to change my name to XYZ. And again, that's a scam too, you guys. Like when I say I'm here for you guys, I'm here for the people. Because you so many tricks and traps in this system that is just like, why do we have to go through that? Why do people have to go through these steps when it's natural? Like, and then most likely you probably have to pay. I mean, I don't know, I haven't looked into having a name change as an adult. I know my oldest son, we changed his last name because he was named after a guy that wasn't his dad, that wasn't his birth father, even though they look just alike, and like my son looked like his niece and everything. But that's a whole nother different story. Like y'all know how people be born into different families, that's a whole nother video too. I might make another video on that because at 1:30 her ABA t-shirt is coming and it's 1:06. So I might, that would be another video that can start up at like 1:45 or something when people are born into different families. And I heard this one saying that some people are born into your enemy's family, like your enemy family. Okay, like in the past life, if somebody was your enemy in the past life for whatever reason, then this life, y'all are going to be related. You're going to be born, how they say, keep your enemies close or closest, something, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm quite sure a lot of y'all is like, my hand is raised too, eczema and all. My hand is raised too, and you be considered the black sheep. My hand is raised too. Shoot, I don't. Yeah. Um. So, anyways, that would be like a whole topic video, but not a whole topic, but just something that I touch base on. My thinks and my feelings, my thinkings my thoughts, my thoughts and my feelings about that, and this would be me, what I feel. Okay, this isn't nothing. Oh, it could probably be I did some research and looked some stuff up, but overall, this is what I know and what I feel. So yeah, sorry, I'm about to take a bite of this sandwich. Mm. Yeah, sandwich and a coffee. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, so like the wind is blowing, the tree is a blowing, the wind is a blowing. But okay, what was I talking about? I think I finished with the checklist. I probably go back over that. Um, oh yeah, names. When people, whew, so I get that when people, like I said, I'm not biased. I'm an unbiased person, so I can see things all kinds of ways. I may not agree with a particular way, but I can understand, or if it makes sense how you saying it, like I can see it from that perspective. Like, oh, okay, I get it, but I disagree with that, but I understand. Like that's how I am. I'm not a person who just because you feel or you think something differently from me and you trying to explain yourself and I'm just like, nope, 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 it's not making nope, nope, nope. I'm like, I will listen and then I will ask questions so I can get a fully understanding of why you would think that, or why you would view things that way. I like to ask questions to get to know, because maybe I'm missing something and maybe you're missing something. Like we can help each other out. You know what I mean? That's the kind of person I am. I'm not just somebody that I have come across people when you tell them the truth or when you trying to tell them the truth and they just automatically like don't even want to hear it. Because I'm like, those people I feel what I realize are afraid of the truth. Like they may know it, they may know that it's the truth, but when they hear it coming from somebody, it puts them, the realness sets in. It's just like, oh my goodness. You know how they say, what's the word? Like if you know the truth, excuse me, if you know the truth and if you not obeying the truth or abiding by the truth, but you know it, then you are at fault. Like when your time come, when that judgment time come, you can't say you didn't know. You know what I mean? You can't say, oh, well, I didn't know, when you actually know. So that's why I think a lot of people, when you get to talking the truth and telling the truth of who you are, like example for me, when I get to talking about who I am, a lot of them is like, nope, don't want to hear it. You sound crazy. That's just impossible. No, 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 no. And it's just like, I'm not even like really finished. I'm just giving you the facts, and you already like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, oh, you probably already know it, but you just don't want to hear it because that means you have to acknowledge it. And if you don't, when your time comes, you can't use an excuse of, oh, I didn't know at all. I didn't know that. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's the kind of stuff that I'm experiencing, have been experiencing for a while. And seeing that being done to other people, when they speak the truth and people just like don't want to hear or like no, no, no. And I get it, it's a way of how you present the truth to people. That's why for me, I be trying to, or I want to present it in all kinds of ways. That's why I'm like, I see myself like coloring books or like story time books, like, well, yeah, I got story time books, but like books, because anybody can write a book right now or nowadays. You can be a 10-page book, and which is a good thing. I'm not saying like, oh, anybody can write a book, but anybody can write a book. children can write a book, and I'm talking about being published, which is a good thing. If your child want to write a short story, oh my goodness, well, let them write a short story. I remember real quick, what time is it? 1:13, when what grade was I in? A fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade. I was at Bradbury Heights though. Was I at Bradbury Heights? Yeah, I was at Bradbury Heights Elementary School, fourth or fifth grade, and we came up. Was it that? I'm gonna say fourth grade, but anyways, we. It's so funny. Like, I kid you not, and I'm not even gonna say run me my money because everything is mine. But if I wanted to say run me my money, I could say run me my money. But everything, I am money. But far as different movies, one particular movie, Into the Woods, Into the Woods, some movie that came out a couple of years ago, when they mix a whole lot of different nursery rhymes into one story, into one movie. So different nursery rhymes, they compact that into one. And even Shrek, in a way, you know how they have different characters and different stories and stuff like that into one. Yeah. So when I was in the fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade, we had to write a story. Okay. So it's funny because my story was based on like nursery rhymes that I read throughout being younger and that I know, and I mixed them all together, like, and it made sense. Like, it made sense. It was like Old King Cole, Humpty Dumpty, the Three Little Pigs, like Cinderella, like everything was like mixing and it made sense. And I'm like writing, and man. So we had a school, I think monthly newspaper. And so the teacher actually published, my story, and I think other stories too. I think my whole class story. It wasn't just my story. I know my story was like in the newspaper thing, and I remember being so excited. And I remember showing my mom, and my mom, I was like, "Look, mom," going home and like showing my mom the paper. And my mom, I remember her talking on the telephone. She always been busy, either talking on the telephone or cooking or cleaning. Oh my goodness, that's kind of what I'm kind of doing. But no, I make time for my daughter. I always play with her. My son, he's with his dad right now, Solomon. But when he's here, the only time that he really want me to interact with him, or that I can't interact with him, besides eating at the dinner table, is when he's playing video games. And I go in the room and I watch him play the video game. He want me to play the game with him or like get a controller and play. But I'm like, the way these games look like they set up, I'm like, what the heck? I don't know. It's not like how the 80s and the 90s when I was into video games and things was like, I don't know. Now I like to watch people play video games. I'm not really a player unless it's like a race car game. I like race car games, but he don't have no race car games. But anyways, off to the topic. But I remember showing my mom, like, "Mom, huh, read this." Okay, Dee, okay, Dee, I'll read it later. I'll read it later. Put it on the table. Put it on the table. That sucker stay on the table for a couple of hours. It seems, maybe it was like a few minutes, but to me, it seemed like a couple of hours. And I just move it because I don't want it to get thrown in the trash with the other papers, or I just don't want my sisters to mess it up. I don't want nobody to throw it in the trash, so I take it and put it back in my book bag. I remember doing that a couple of times, putting it in my book bag so it could be safe. And then the next day, showing my mother, "Hey, mom, can you read it?" "Okay, Dee, just put it on the table. I read it, or tell me what it says." And I'm like, me trying to read it, and I see her like being impatient. I'm just like, well, I don't know, but I don't even think she really read it. And then I remember giving it to my dad because this when they were separated, and my dad used to pick us up on the weekends or every other weekend or on the weekends. I don't know, but I remember showing the paper to my dad. It's probably like 3 pages. Not my story. My story was maybe a half of a page. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like a whole full page or whatever. So what happened? So basically, I remember showing my dad, giving my dad the paper when seeing it on the weekend, and wanted my dad to read it. And I think his girlfriend or his wife, who later became my stepmom, I think she read it, and she was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I don't even think my dad read it, but did I even get it back? I don't even think I got it back from them. She probably kept it or did something with it. But I know the universe have it. That's why I'd be like, roll that beautiful souvenir footage. You know how that commercial with the Duke's beans or whatever. They be like, roll that beautiful bean footage. I'd be like, roll that beautiful souvenir footage, because I'm just like, everything is like, all my stuff that I ever have is like packed in like, man, when I say the technology of it, the scientific thing of it, like it's a whole big room, maybe in the Vatican somewhere, or just in the ethers. When I'm just like, I want something when I was 6 years old. Like, where's my glowworm? Or where's my pony baby doll? I reach for it. Here it is. My pony doll, or my glowworm back in the 80s, or a outfit that I used to wear, like my own personal outfit that I used to wear when I was 5 6 years old. Oh, here it is. Like, I have, man, that's how it is. So I'm like, nothing is lost. Nothing is lost. Even if you see your item get thrown in the trash and it's in the dumpster, and you're like, oh my goodness, I ain't gonna do it anymore. No, everything is, at least for my stuff, and I'm quite sure for your stuff too, everything is packed up like this. Okay, I'm not even going to go too far deep into that, but trust me, if you want it, if you really feel it, and if you really know it, all your stuff that you think you lost is still present somewhere, that and more. Okay, so yeah, like I say, even if it's in your hand and you see that something is damaged and broken, you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't even use this anymore. I had this for like 20 years. Or like your children's umbilical cord that got lost, or when you got evicted, the whole thing just got gone, and you had your children umbilical cords for 15, 16 years, and now it's gone. You're just like, damn it, that's priceless. It's it's still saved. Okay, anyways, okay, it's 1:20. I gotta get off, but I'll come back on. But what was I talking about real quick? Somebody, oh yeah, the book, the thing, okay. So anyways, the story that I wrote, it had all these nursery rhymes combined, packed together, and it made sense, okay. So I was excited about that. I don't think my mother even read it. I don't even know where that paper at, but I know it's somewhere hidden safely, the Vatican. Y'all know y'all got it. Okay, that's where is it at. But anyways, well, all my stuff is that maybe even my poo poo diapers when I was a newborn baby, my poo poo diapers is saved. Okay, yeah. So, but anyways, so the movie Into the Woods, when I watched that like years ago, I'm like, oh my goodness, this like how, because that was the first movie that I watched where like nursery rhymes came together as one, and I'm just like, what the heck, this kind of thing. And then like it was like similar to the story that I wrote. I kid you not. I kid you not. And then Shrek movies and stuff like that. So I'm like, what the heck? Excuse me. But it was funny because it was funny. And like, I've so much enjoyed that story that I wrote. And then the assignment we was reading, it was like a reading in class, and it was like two or three different reading groups, like an advanced reading group, media, like advanced behind reading group, and another reading group, the average reading group. I forgot which reading group I was in. Maybe the not advanced. No, I think I was in like the average reading group. I wasn't in the like the ones who need help reading, because I can read. I just really couldn't speak. But anyways, so we was reading like stories out of our like language arts book or reading book or whatever, different stories, maybe like three stories, okay? So our assignment, we had like a report, one assignment to do that's like for a week, like basically write a story based upon the stories that we read. That was what the teacher said. She ain't say, um, and it wasn't no nursery rhyme stories in this book we read. It was like, like short stories for our age group, no nursery rhyme stories. But she didn't specify just these three stories. Just these three stories that we read. She just like read a story on the stories that we read. So, and I think it was either written down, like what we had to do, like in words on a paper. So she didn't like speak it, well, she spoke it, but it was like an assignment on a paper. So I'm reading it. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Hmm. And then that's where my creativity mind came in. Mind you, art is in my name. ART. Art is in my name. So that's when my mind came, and I'm just like, well, I want to do these stories that we just read. Let me go think about stories that I've read, in the past. So, and I probably even read them stories recently because I had younger siblings, so we probably had a nursery rhyme book in the house anyway, or something. So I sure enough did that. So when it came time to everybody in our circle group to stand up and read, or just we sit down in a chair to like go around and read our stories that day. After it was due, like the next week or whatever. So I was excited, to read mine. Of course, I was not going to go first. I don't like going first. So I was like, I'll probably go second or third. That was in my mind. I'll go second or third to get this over with. And I'm excited to read my story, yada, yada, yada. So the first person got up and started reading that story. Everybody was like, cool, good. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, fine. And the second person read their story, and mind you, the first and the second person was based their stories upon the three stories that we had read in the group. Not no outside stories that we ain't even read in the group, but the three stories that we read last week or the week before, whatever, they was basing their characters and the storylines and the plots on that. So when I was hearing the second story, the second person reading that story, I got to being nervous, like, oh my goodness, did I do this assignment wrong? I've got nursery rhymes, I got Old King Cole, I got the Three Little Pigs, I got Humpty Dumpty in my story, and they, I was like, I think I got to do this thing over. So, but I was like, you know, so either I think I probably went like fourth, or I went like the next day, but I didn't do my story over. I just read it. And then so I remember people like this always freaking happen. Like that's why, man, I kid you not. Like it is a purpose for me standing up in front of my peers and talking. That I think that's some kind of trauma that I have to face, that I have to overcome. That's why it's like, oh my goodness, things happen for a reason. Because even when I was in high school, I did a project correctly, but I still did it on like a cartoon thing, the movie Tarzan, like the 2000 and something. What was it? I guess 1997, 98. Because this when I was in the 12th grade and I graduated in 2000. So the movie had to come out because it was on the VHS tape, not a DVD, but we had VHS tapes. So I had the cartoon Tarzan, okay? And I did a scene. Okay, it's 1:25. I gotta get ready to get off. But I even had to stand up in class in high school, and then like I got picked on, for me standing up, and everybody had to stand up and read, their project. But it was my turn. One of the girls, the popular girls, they said something about my hair, and everybody was laughing, and it was just like, oh my goodness. So, and I'm quite sure that happened another time before, but me reading my story with the nursery rhymes combined, I hear some snickering, like what in the world, like some confusion, and I felt that. So I'm got to shaking and like, oh my goodness. So yeah, and then look at it. I have been chosen, or I have been picked, or I picked myself, or I'm just a person, or I'm Demitra, who have to stand up and present myself to the world. Oh my goodness, man. But anyways, I have read my story, and the teacher, I remember the teacher, and I remember feeling her energy. Like she was just like, wow. She was like excited and like more. It seemed like more excited than me. Like she was just like astonished, like, oh my goodness, Demetria, you wrote that, and I'm like, yeah. Oh my, and I used to write so many short stories and get like A's on it. I remember one time, I think I was in 11th grade. We had to pick this picture. I'm talking, I'm about to get off and I keep talking, but for real, this is the last thing. We I think in English class or whatever, we had different pictures, maybe like 10 pictures, still pictures, like we had to pick from. And from a still picture, and I don't even think like somebody took a picture. I think it was like something offline or whatever. From a random still picture from the teacher, we had to create a short story based upon that picture. And the picture that I had, it was like a dark, it was like a dark scene. And I remember it was like a window, like say somebody zooming in from the window down far, so you see the person sitting in the window like a black shadow, like at a desk. And I remember, I think it was like a lady figure with the hat on. I don't know, I'm just remember seeing a window, like taking a picture of a window like facing down in a building, like say the view of a, say I'm standing up but I'm looking out the window but I'm looking down, so the next building over but like 3 floors down. And I took a picture of somebody in their room sitting at a desk, a black figure, dark time outside. It was something like that. So we had to write a short. Well, I picked that picture. It was like other pictures to choose from, of course, but I picked that picture. Based off that picture, I had to write a short story, and I wrote the. I got an A. All I know is I got an A. I can't even freaking remember what I wrote, but again, I'm quite sure that paperwork is saved up in the Vatican somewhere. So yeah, all right, 129. I gotta get off because her teacher should be probably about to be knocking on the door, and I gotta check on Eleanor. So all right, I'll be back. But yeah, all right, bye.